Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So I want to go over some updates for the Philadelphia Eagles, and just want to talk about a few things today. Couple of days more till Thanksgiving, and obviously this big Sunday night matchup, primetime Eagles-Packers. So some updates for you guys. So let's get straight into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. So, man, there's some things that we definitely need to discuss that, kind of everything's been, it's kind of just been going crazy on Twitter this morning, and I don't know why, but a few things. And first, how sexy are those new Eagles black helmets? Holy crap, they look really good. I got to say, I wasn't, and from the beginning from the word art, the new word art, to now the black on blacks this year, we're going to be wearing them for the Green Bay Packer game, the Dallas Cowboy game on Christmas Eve, and then the last game of the season against the Giants, which is still a to-be-determined type game. These things look fresh. I mean, the Eagles have put out a bunch of trailers for that they're going to be wearing these on Sunday. It's going to be awesome. Even with those visors, they look so good. And see what you guys think of those, because I thought it was one of the best ideas they had this year and how it would look. And I know we already saw these helmets earlier, but, to see them full effect, and it's really going to happen this week. It's going to be all black on black, everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. So can't wait to see these. Hopefully they get the win and get into the double-digit wins. Hopefully become 10-1 by this Sunday. So should be a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think about those helmets. Next is Nick Sirianni. There was a glimpse of, what he said on the sideline after the Eagles won 17-16 when the defense, the Brandon Graham sack that pretty much ended it all at the end of the game. And Nick Sirianni went to the sideline, or went to the crowd of Eagles fans, and pretty much said, this shit was for Frank Reich. And it's blowing up this morning, and I don't know why, everyone's taking it out of proportion of that's just the type of coach he is, that people used to call him a fake tough guy, and it's not. That's just the way he is, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. And who fucking cares about this? Really, he's been doing this since he got here. I mean, I think he had more of a voice this year than he did last year. I think as confidence as a head coach, he's becoming more vocal. He was vocal last year, but I think you're starting to see the emotion of him on the field, and him defending his players even if they're right or wrong, getting emotional after this loss against the Colts. I mean, people forget this man coached with the Colts 2 years ago. He was Frank Reich's offensive coordinator. A lot of the players he still cared for on the Colts, which he already said in the locker room. He talked to the guys about that and said, nothing compared to how I feel about you guys in this room. And it's an emotional thing, man. But the one thing I like about Nick is there are times where he's a nice guy, he's funny, but he's a hard coach. He really is. He's a brutal, hard coach. Keeps his guys in line and gets his guys prepared every single week. And I think the players want to play for him, and that's just how it's been. You know what I mean? So I can't complain too much about Nick Sirianni. I mean, is it too much where he goes up to the crowd and he's like, "Oh, this shit's for Frank Reich," I know people are making a big deal about that. He really was looking forward to this game playing Frank Reich as the head coach, and because he's not, he thinks the Colts made a mistake from his words that he said in his press conference after the game, the post-game press conference. He's like, "You don't want to know what I think about the whole Frank Reich situation." I mean, that's not quote-unquote what he said, but you don't want to know what I think, quote-unquote. So Frank Reich was a big part of his coaching career in his life, as well as his father and his brother and a couple other people. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I think there was a little bit of revenge too. I think because Frank Reich since he was fired, he was happy to get that win. Kind of tell the Colts they made a mistake. With Jeff Saturday, there's no promise for anything. He's got one win so far, and he's a great leader, but can he actually coach? That's a whole nother thing. So We'll see. But since really Andrew Luck, and since they drafted Andrew Luck, they've been doing absolutely nothing but bringing in veteran quarterbacks. They haven't drafted a quarterback in years. They've been bringing veteran guys or guys that were on other rosters that maybe have a little bit left that, maybe could have brought them to the top. Frank Reich stuck his neck out for probably a couple of those moves. Maybe Phillip Rivers, maybe Jacoby Brissett, maybe a few of those guys. Even probably Carson Wentz, that probably stuck out his neck to trade for him and give up that second-round conditional pick that turned into a first and, gave up picks and still didn't work out and choked the last two games. All they had to do was win against one of those two games against the Jags or the other game that they had the other year, and they would have been in the playoffs. So, and that didn't happen. So the Colts have a good team, but I think they're just missing a lot of coaching, and they just need some better pieces around. But Colts are a good team, and I understand the record shows for it, but the quarterback needs to go before anything. And then I think there's a lot of good pieces on that team as of right now. But I don't care about that. But I'm just kind of this whole situation with Nick and how emotional he is and what type of person he is. That's just what it is. And people just have to accept it. And I like a coach that's got more emotion, has more fire to him. A younger guy, it's got more fire, and I hope he's a coach here for a long time. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's you can tell when the coach is getting run out of town, when the team starts playing bad, or the teams don't, the players don't believe in the coach or don't want to play for the head coach. So, stuff happens like that. But as of right now, no problem with Nick Sirianni whatsoever. We saw the press conferences for Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon had a lot to say about, having, Ndamukong Suh, having Linval Joseph, and it's nice to have two guys that can only do one thing, which is be that interior rush and kind of clog up the middle. And he kind of explained it really helps him move players around that defensive line, which I really do like, because after watching the tape, he did blitz corners, he did blitz linebackers, he did a lot more blitzing than I thought he was going to be. You're streaming the game and looking at the chat. It's hard for me to look at everything as it's going on, but rewatching the game, he blitzed a lot in that game, and shut down Jonathan Taylor after the first quarter. They did a really good job. When I looked over it, they did a fantastic job. This offense, just put this defense in really bad position. And you can't blame the defense for a lot in this game. So a lot of things do have to get cleaned up. He talked about T.J. Edwards being really smart, and I think T.J. Edwards is definitely due for a contract at the end of this year. There's no doubt about it. He's been playing at a Pro Bowl level. There are times where his coverage is lacking a little bit, or he gives up on plays, but I think a lot of the failures of some of these players, or some of the mistakes from some of these players, are really from the way they're put into these situations by Gannon in certain games. I think Howie Roseman getting those two guys on the inside was a passive, saying to Gannon, like, you better do right, because I just literally fixed your problem when Jordan Davis isn't even back yet. Just imagine Jordan Davis back with Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph still here. Your defensive line, the interior is going to look really good. So he said a lot of good things in the press conference, and when I looked at the game, it was fantastic. Shane Steichen, obviously talked about, we fought to the end. The team had grit. The team was tough. The team had resiliency. Totally get it. When it comes down to it, got to clean up the penalties, got to clean up. The one thing they have to try to fix is getting the run game working here. Boston Scott and Gainwell are really just it's like I feel like the running backs are just not getting enough, and Miles Sanders is your workhorse, and you're not treating him like one, and I can't stand that at all. I've talked about that the last 2-3 videos, and it's probably getting really annoying, but it really bothers me because this team has been way too pass happy the first half of the past 3 quarters. I didn't talk about the defense either with, Bradbury only gave up 24 yards in the game. They did good. Defense played really good, by the way. I have to go back. The defense played so great. When I rewatched the tape, I was like, damn. It was nice just to watch the whole thing and be like, man, they were, I think the blitzing has to get a little bit better. Like, I like to see some, surprise, even with Jim Johnson, you know what I mean? Like, you have those surprise blitz, those blitzes that quarterbacks are never going to expect. We all know that Jonathan Gannon likes to, disguise those coverages, so I totally get it. I'm so sorry I've been switching back and forth, but there was a few things I really did like what they showed us and what was said at these press conferences as well. But Shane Steichen did talk about, putting it in the quarterback's hands, and I know for a fact that they have, Jalen Hurts is a game manager as well. If he sees something different, he will change the play. So he has a lot of, he's not handicapped into it. They're not forcing him to do something. If he sees something different, he could change the play, which is great. Even the Texans game when he had the strip sack on him, you know what I mean? He had the strip sack on him and went to Shane Steichen right to the sideline, and that was pretty much it. Went to him at the sideline and said, no, we need to start running the football. And, they started doing it, for that game. And for this game, they started, against, the third quarter, they started to run a little bit more. End of the third quarter, they started running a little bit more, which, they did the same thing in the Texans game. End of the third quarter, they started using Miles Sanders, so, it's been crazy. It's a game that was close, but, everyone calls it an ugly win, and everyone's, teams find a way to win like this. It's a good football team at the end of the day. It really is. If you're beating teams over 40, 50 points a game, it doesn't, it's great to dominate a team. I mean, you're going to have those games where you dominate. The Eagles haven't scored 40 points this year, and it's because of Gannon, how he's running this defense. And that's just the truth to it all. But got to clean up those penalties. Got to get the run game going in the first half. I mean, those are two things. Obviously, the stupid mistakes, the A.J. Brown fumble, it's easily fixed. I'm not even worried about any of that other stuff. I mean, those are just big time letdowns when you see a receiver just fumbled on his own or try to extend plays way too much on their feet, which I respect for that. But at the same time, you got to be careful. You got to be cautious. And, you got to just lay on the ground and just give up on the play, especially if there's more time left. I thought the Eagles gave up a little bit too much time at the end. I think they gave the Colts way too much time at the end of the game. They could have wasted a lot more time in the fourth quarter, but it is what it is. Jalen Hurts got downfield, scored the rushing touchdown, and then really it was up to this defense. And I got to say, I thought, it was great. It was great all around. You know what I mean? So I can't, I don't know what the game plan is going to be this week. You're facing a good quarterback this week, but a quarterback that's been struggling. You know what I mean? Not many wins on the belt. They lost, 5 of the 6 that they've played, 6 games. So it's been, Green Bay's not great. They're not a good team, but, this is Aaron Rodgers. He can still get the ball. He can still throw. He can still, the last time the Eagles played the Packers was 2020, I think, when Jalen Hurts took over in that game when Carson Wentz was pretty much officially benched. I think they still lost that game. I'm not sure. I think they did. I don't even remember. I don't even remember who lost. I think we lost that game. But that's when we got the first glimpse of, Jalen Hurts at quarterback when Carson was benched. So just thought it was interesting to bring that up too. But I have good feelings about this week. The Eagles hopefully get to 10-1, finally in the double digits of wins this week. NFC East is going to be very interesting. So definitely let me know what you guys think about the press conferences with Shane Steichen and Nick and obviously Jonathan Gannon. What did you think about the offense and defense? What do they need to clean up? I think that's definitely something you guys could talk about. And what did you guys think of the new black helmets and debuting those as well? It's going to be a lot of fun. Debuting those things on Sunday night, which is awesome. So, sorry, it's been a long day today. I didn't know if I was going to get a video out today, but I appreciate everybody that's been patient and subscribed and liked the videos and stuff like that. So, very humble, and thank you so much, everybody. Join the Discord in the description if you guys haven't. Talk Eagles every single day, over 250 members in there. So I thank everybody that's in there, and thank the people that definitely want to check it out, which is awesome. And we'll be back this week with more content. I will see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD up, follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.